Hi, everybody. My name's Gary Mortensen. I'm a member of the Austin Friends of Traditional Music, the AFTM, and we've been around since 1974 promoting traditional music here in the Austin, Texas area. We have a website, aftm.us, and if you check out that website, you can keep up to date on our events. Check out our Real Times newsletter. We've got a lot this most recent issue. Chip Bach, our own Chip Bach, wrote a wonderful article on virtual aids for the isolated musician, as we all are now. Practicing aids, ways to play with other people. Check that out on our website. And our webmaster, Terry Sorrell, hosts a weekly jam, a virtual jam, a song circle, really. And there's an article about that. And you can hear about our scholarships, too. Our scholarship policy normally is to send a young person under 30 years of age to the Swannanoa Gathering, but that's not happening this year, so we certainly can't do it. So what we've done is we've substituted several $200 scholarships for online learning opportunities. All you have to do is be under the age of 30 and be a member of the Austin Friends of Traditional Music. Now, a while ago, we talked to Lee Thomas, our new vice president, and tonight it's going to be my pleasure to speak a little bit with Mr. James Seppi, who is on the AFTM board, and I can see him right there in his elegant Austin residence. James, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Gary.
Good to see you. I know you work from home, so you didn't have to drive in from the office or anything like that, but you are not, I don't think, a long time, you're not a native Texan. Is that accurate?
That's right. I moved here in 2007 from Maryland.
And your early years were spent out there, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah, born and raised in Maryland, and went to college there, and came to Austin for a visit with my then girlfriend, now wife, and I think we spent, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours here, and I decided I was moving.
Excellent, excellent. So the weather didn't intimidate you or anything?
No, I don't remember what time of year it was, but the weather was nice, and I liked that you can walk around, and there's lots of activity always going on in Austin, even just for the 2 hours or 3 hours we were here.
Well, I'm really glad that happened. Were you already a musician or interested in traditional music when you lived in Maryland?
Nope, not really. I messed around on guitar in high school and not so much in college, but didn't really have any formal training or hadn't spent, a lot of time developing any real skill in it. So there were a lot of intervening years between when I had attempted to be playing guitar and when I picked up mandolin and fiddle like I play now.
Yeah, was there a certain incident or a certain person who piqued your interest in music again?
I don't know. I had something in the back of my head that I wanted to learn an instrument for real, and on my list were fiddle and banjo. And my wife bought me my first violin as a gift, and started taking lessons. And I didn't really know what type of music I wanted to play. Had never heard of old time. Like I knew bluegrass kind of, but I'm still not really familiar with the big names in it, I guess.
And that was after you were relocated in Austin, is that right?
Yeah, this is 2015.
Yeah. Were you taking lessons from anyone in town?
Yeah, I took lessons for a few years from a guy named Mike Harris. He's kind of a generalist music teacher. I don't remember who the first person was that kind of got me into old time. He had asked me what type I wanted to play, and I told him bluegrass and Irish because those are the types I knew of music that had strong fiddle parts to them. But somewhere along the lines, it might have been my friend at the time was a coworker, Matt Nelson, back when I was working actually with Lee Thomas's son Joey at the Texas Water Development Board. I think Matt Nelson, he works there currently, and he had mentioned old time and gave me some CDs. And somewhere around the same time, I also met Brian Tronsgaard, who was telling me about the contra dances on Wednesdays. And I also came across the Beginner Jam Facebook or Yahoo group at the time that Sharon Isaac and Mike Savercool and Patrick run. So
Do you remember how you first heard about the AFTM?
I think Brian Tronsgaard told me about the String Band Festival, and I made it out to that, and it was such a great experience. I think that's probably buying tickets is where I first heard of AFTM.
Uh-huh. I think the String Band Festival is where I met Brian Tronsgarden. What a joy he is to play
Oh, yeah.
music with, isn't he?
I used to live right across the hall from him.
Ah,
Yeah, in an
yeah.
apartment building. Yeah.
And I don't know if I mentioned it in my little introductory speech, but our festival, the Austin String Band Festival, takes place in October in normal years. This year, it's very hard to say what will happen, but it's a real jewel of a festival. And if it's safe to proceed with some kind of an event, we will. But if it's not, we won't. We're not going to be foolish about it. But one of these years, it'll pick up again, and it's my favorite festival. And I've heard similar comments from so many people. You really enjoy it, I think.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely my favorite. I guess it's one of the few I go to. But yeah, it sparked such joy the first one I went to, where I was like, wow, this is like this cool hidden, community. I didn't even know about this, and there's people jamming all night, and everyone's super friendly. And that's kind of when I decided to get involved with AFTM, was right after the festival, because I was like, I want to be a part of
Uh-huh.
a part of the organization. Yeah.
We were very pleased to see you show interest, and your title, I think, is volunteer coordinator. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I started first as a volunteer, the volunteer coordinator. So before I was a board member, I think it was a few months I helped out with the festival in, oh geez, I don't even know, 2018, I guess. Maybe it was 2017, I can't remember. I helped out with the festival, and then got nominated to the board the following year.
Yeah. And our festival, of course, is very dependent on volunteer labor. Very dependent. So it's what the work James does is really quite fantastic in organizing it all and having somebody on hand to do the various tasks. So we really appreciate your work, and really appreciate our volunteers as well. That is a bicycle I see in the background. I think one time you told me you're putting in a lot of miles on a bike these days.
Yeah, I started to train to do a bike trip that was supposed to happen this month. Actually, I guess right now it was supposed to happen over in the Yorkshire Dales. It was going to be my first bike trip. But that obviously is not happening. So sadly, but I still trained a good amount at the start of this year and been trying to keep it up.
Yeah. Well, of course, so many things are not happening this year. All kinds of jams, all kinds of parties and such. We're all just sitting at home, hopefully keeping our musical activities going. Are you getting some decent practice time in these days?
Yeah, I practice quite a bit. It's not as fun as the jams, but it's good. It's good to woodshed on some tunes. So.
And as I mentioned earlier, people should check out our Real Times newsletter at aftm.us and check out Chipbox's article on all these various online resources for the isolated musician. And we're all isolated musicians these days, so it's very timely and very helpful. So I can't ask you about any travel, I suppose. If your travel this summer was canceled rudely, as was everyone else's. But
well, we're helping my my in-laws move to Santa Fe actually this week. So
I see.
My wife and I have been more strictly isolating for the past few weeks, and we got our tests, and we're both negative, so we can safely be around her parents and help them move over to New Mexico.
Yeah.
So a little bit of travel.
Sure. And without going into detail, you do, I think, work from home. Is that right, James? Your day job?
Yep. This is where the magic happens, right in this very room.
My goodness. We're seeing it, friends, right there.
That's right.
You work with software in some form. Is that right?
Yep. For an online mapping company.
Yeah. Well, we're really happy to have you in the AFTM, James, and glad you made the decision to join up. And hopefully I'll see you again in person one of these days. The AFTM board has been meeting virtually like everyone else does. So I haven't laid eyes on any of the AFTM board members. I've kind of got my hair shoved behind my head so you can't see it, but I've got 3 months of hair growth going, and I bet we're all looking a little bit fuzzy.
Yeah. I think the Zoom meetings have been working really well for us, though.
Yeah, I think like so many people, we're getting the hang of it. Is the Zoom platform used in your work at all?
We do. We use it for kind of our big all hands meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works great.
Yeah. Well, this will be online and available somewhere sometime soon. I'm sure it'll be on our AFTM.us website and perhaps on Facebook too, I think. So we'll get a chance to listen to ourselves chat, James. But it's been a pleasure. And again, thanks so much for all you do for the AFTM.
Thank you, Gary.
Hope your summer goes well, and hope to see you again in person before the snow falls. Of course, the snow never falls here. So, yeah. Thanks a lot, James. And thanks to everyone for watching. My name is Gary Mortensen, and we're talking about the Austin Friends of Traditional Music.